All right, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Digital Shop Talk webinar. My name is Tom Dorsey. I will be hosting today, and I've got a great guest host with me, Chris Maggard. Actually, we have a secret guest host hiding back here. Marty Mace is in as a panelist today as well. He may drop some nuggets of insight on us. Let's hope. Before we get started, go ahead and raise your hand if you can hear me. We'll check microphones. You should be able to see my screen already also. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. And what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about, follow-up to yesterday's Digital Shop Talk Radio, where we had Roy Foster and Sarah Savio in talking about marketing and about kind of working that marketing throttle to make sure that you're running at peak capacity. And we've got Chris Maggard in today because, from an advisor's perspective, she is probably, the best or the most prepared to set up, marketing campaigns from Auto Vitals, as far as setting up the back end and strategizing on your goals and all that good stuff. So she's going to run us through today and show us how we can put into practice some of those things that Sarah and Roy were talking about with us yesterday. And we're going to talk about that campaign manager, how to use your campaign manager to run custom campaigns, right? And, like Roy was talking about yesterday is, use that campaign manager to fill those gaps in your schedule. And then we're going to also be talking about how to tie those into sales drivers, right? And custom coupons and things like that, so that we can, instead of just kind of throwing everything against the wall and seeing what's going to stick, we can actually put some strategy behind it and start attracting the type of business we want to work on. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the brand manager and give you an idea how to use the brand manager and how easy it is and how cool it is, right? Because it really does work to customize all of your messaging, all your marketing messaging to fit your brand and your color scheme and all that good stuff. And so Chris will give us a run through on how to use that. And then we'll finish off and we're going to talk about, if you're not doing it already, how to set up your reminders to use your inspection results. Pretty simple setup. And Chris will walk us through that as well. As always, feel free to ask as many questions as necessary, and you can do that two ways. You can either use the Q&A button there and just type in your question, use the chat, same thing, just type it in, and then we'll get those questions answered live and help you out. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and stop screen sharing and get Chris in here, and she'll get us started.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom. So first and foremost, thank you guys for joining us today and allowing me to show you guys a few things. Like Tom had mentioned, we're going to spend some time going through how you can create a template-based and or custom campaign through our great campaign management tool, how you can really, customize your communications to brand your shop, and then also how you can re-educate your motorist by utilizing information from your inspection sheets to follow up to remind them to get those folks back in your door for those declined services or potentially future recommended services. So what we're going to do is, if you guys would like to follow us today, I'm going to be in live mode, complete presentation here during the webinar. From your today's vehicle page, what I would like you to do is take a moment, open that up if you haven't done so already, and we're going to go to the CRM menu. And I'm going to take a little bit of a long cut because I can't access it this way as an admin, but for those of you, please click on CRM menu. When you get to your CRM menu, which looks like this, I'm going to have you go to your campaign manager, and this is where we're going to spend some time both creating a campaign as well as looking at our brand manager. Before I get started and kind of walk you through how to create campaigns, whether it is a template-based campaign or a custom campaign, one of the things that is really important, in my opinion, is to be prepared for what you want to do to create the most bang for your buck for your shop, and also have the ability of what I say is like set it and forget it. Create yourself a marketing calendar so you're aware of what promotions you want to do to increase your car count and or create a reaction from your motorists. The goal behind here is to have top of mind awareness, get in front of them in between maintenance services, and also increase your business with these folks in between those services to create that reaction and drive an additional business. So if you need assistance creating a marketing calendar, talk to your advisor and see if they can help you out. Again, being strategic and proactive is really beneficial, so you have the ability of creating your campaigns, scheduling those, which I will show you how you can do today. Set it, forget it, let the program do the heavy lifting for you and be successful for the year. So the first thing we're going to do is when you're inside of your campaign manager, we're going to go here to creating a campaign. Now, when you get in here, the first thing you have an option to do is choose whether you want to use a template that AutoVitals has created, and or if you've created one already, you can save it and have access to this at all times, or you can create your own. So for today, we are going to use a template. However, there's things that you can do to customize these templates, and also I will show you a couple examples of things that you can do as far as creating custom coupons to throw them in here. Now, I'm going to start with a lost customer campaign. I highly recommend for every shop that utilizes our retention program that you set up 2 reoccurring campaigns that will help you guys drive in lost customers. Start capturing folks that are starting to slip away and setting this up reoccurring to where it goes after those lost customers every single month. And I'll show you how you can do that. In addition to new customers, target your new customers every 30 days and send them an additional thank you. Let them know that you appreciate their business for the best likelihood to bring them back in. And again, it's one of those set it and forget it. Set it up, create criteria, and let it reoccur and go out for you on a monthly basis on its own. Now, because we've selected this template right here, in all reality, folks, we could be done. If I was to come here and hit preview campaign, it's as simple as this. My campaign is done. We have our text message, we have an email created, and we have our landing page, which is a web page that folks would be directed to. So it can be as easy as clicking a button and being completely done, but we are going to walk you through each step. So again, first step is creating and finding what template we want to use, or starting fresh and doing our own. Second thing you want to do is choose your audience. Now, when it comes to lost customers, if you click here, you have a list of different audiences that are already predefined for you. I personally like to use customers in limbo, so that's what we're going to use today. What this is telling me right now is customers in limbo are folks that have been in my shop within the last 3 years, that have came in 3 or more times, but have not returned for 6 months. This is your low-hanging fruit that is starting to slip away. They're a great customer. We know they've came in and seen value. However, they haven't been back in. Now, if you want to change this date range, you can come in here and change and customize your to and from dates. If you wanted to target people that have been in only 2 times, you can change it. And maybe you will, if you're a specialty shop and 6 months is too soon, maybe you're going to flip that to 9 months. So as you can see here, even though we're using template-based criteria for our campaign and our audience list, you can still make it your own. Couple other things you can do in here to really refine who you want, who you want to target is you can click on this option here, more motorists and vehicle criteria. Inside of here, you can really drill down. You can add different criteria. So for example, maybe I want to get more detailed and say, okay, I have a great list here, but I want to only target people that spent $500 or more. So now we have folks that have been in within the last 3 years, 2 or more visits, haven't returned for 9 months, spent $500 or more, and right here is I have 998 folks that we can target. Now, the next step would be you can review your list by clicking View Recipients here. Inside of here, we're going to list your motorist in alphabetical order based on first name. If there's any fleet companies that fall in here, those would be up top for easy access if you need to eliminate them for one reason or another. Now, you can review your list. If everything looks great, we're ready to rock and roll. If not, let's say for some reason, you know, Adam, he moved away, you're completely aware of it. You can exclude just a vehicle by clicking in the exclude vehicle column, or maybe Adam has a few vehicles that haven't been in during this time frame and we need to exclude the complete customer. You can come over here and check this, which will do the job and disable both customer and vehicle for you. If you make any changes in here, you need to update your list for those changes to take. Now, once you have your list refined, the next option for you is if you want to export that list of recipients, you have the opportunity to export it here. When you do so, you can choose how you want the format of that Excel file to look, hit export, and now you have a copy of the list of who you targeted at your fingertips.
Hey, Chris, and can you give some background on why somebody might want to export that list?
For me, is like number one is sometimes it's hard to go through this recipient list one by one to kind of see who your target audience is. So if you export that list, it will allow you to really see who's on that list a little bit better. But secondly, if you have that exported list at all times, you know exactly who your target was without having to go anywhere else to find it. You have access to that list immediately.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No problem. So once we've defined our audience, now we're going to really hop into start customizing what we want to do, or if we like it, we love it, we can keep what's already been created. So the first area you're going to walk through is text message. I highly recommend that you target both email and text, but if for some reason you're uneasy about doing a text message, you do have the ability of toggling that off. Okay, but again, I'm pro email and text. The more options we have, the more likely they are to see and take action on the communication. So when we're inside of here, here is our template and the wording that has been created for us already. And as you can see, anything that you're looking at will show you in a mobile device in the form that we're, text message that we've created here. Now, if you want to make some changes, so for example, you want to send them $20 off versus 20%. You can come in here, change it here, and as you can see, it's already updated in real time, what I'm seeing here. So you can see what you're creating as you're creating it in real time. Now, once I'm done with my text message and everything looks amazing, I'm going to hit next. Now at this point, A, we used a template. My email is solid, ready to go, or B, I can make some changes. You have the ability to override anything that you want in your subject line, your header, your calls to action. So maybe you want them to say, schedule. Excuse me if I could spell here. Schedule. And what will happen is this call to action button is right here. And now we can change our wording and again, customize what we want to do. I'm a component of seeing something that's already created for me and taking it from there to make it mine versus creating something brand new and having to really get the creative juices going. Now, once we're in here, if we come through and again, make changes to any area, or if we like it and we love it, we're solid and we can go. As you can see, as you scroll through this email, you can choose to use a summary. Why would you pull in a summary here would be to me is if I'm offering this customer that hasn't been in my shop for 9 months, $20 off, I want to correlate what they can use that discount for with a vehicle that needs a service. So I personally would probably leave this here. However, if you're doing a promotion that's not vehicle specific, you can simply come in here and click on this toggle switch and turn that off. And as you can see, it's now removed that. So again, super user friendly and the ability for you to customize as you go. Now, when you're creating the coupon's really cool. We have two options here, a coupon creator. So for example, as you've seen a minute ago, I changed my offer, which means I need to change my coupon offer here to correlate with that. You have two options for coupons. One is you can click edit here and simply come in here and use this coupon creator and make my change immediately. You have the ability to change your coupon here, or you can simply use, be very strategic and just change them here. You can change any of these details you want. You have the ability of choosing what color of text you want, your background, your border. In addition to that, what type of font. So if we want to change our font, click of a button and it's gone. Once you make the changes that you want here, you're going to save and close. So that's as simple as it is to use the Coupon Creator. Or you can be, you know, really customize your communications. I personally love to customize mine. So for example, I've kind of opened up I have a library of coupons that either I've created or I've worked with my shops to create. So for example, let's say that I wanted to do a 4th of July special. Here's a custom coupon that we can use. You created a course in like a, you know, a photo program that you guys might have and download that. Now, when we talk about the ability of customizing things, I can simply hit upload image here, and now I can drag and drop my custom coupon in here. It immediately updates it here. And if you look up top, here's my coupon now. So again, you have the ability of using a custom coupon, or you can utilize the coupon creator that we've already selected. Now that we've created the email, what happens, folks, is every communication that we send out, whether it's a text message or an email, they have calls to action. Click on this link for more details, which is here, or they can click here to review a special, for example, even though I changed it to schedule. When they're clicking on those links, it's going to bring it to what we call as this campaign page, which is a web responsive page to whatever device they might be on, desktop, laptop, you know, mobile device or cell phone. So everything could be form-fitting. Now, again, you can change your campaign page to be different than your email. Okay, again, everything could be separate and customized individually, or we can leave it as it is. You have this appointment request button, which is your call to action. You can turn it off. I would never suggest that, but you could. If you turn it off, there's no calls to action. Okay. Another thing here is we talked about vehicle detail. For this special, here's a vehicle that we can correlate that offer with. If you choose to eliminate this information, you have a toggle switch here. You can turn it off. Now you just have information regarding the campaign you're running. Once we have our,
Chris, I'm sorry, and just to be clear, so even though I'm sending out to 989 people, when they receive it, it's going to have a picture of their car on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you for Tom for hitting on that. As we talk, when you have SmartFlow program, we express how important it is to include an exterior photo of the vehicle. This is why, guys. Every time we send out a communication to your customer, if you've taken a photo of their vehicle, it's going to represent their vehicle, whether it's a service reminder, an appointment reminder, or a campaign. You want to customize and brand something that, you know, connects to that customer. So if you're not taking exterior vehicles and you have our retention program, it's extremely important that you do so. Okay, again, this allows you to brand what you're doing and correlate that with your motorist.
Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. It looks like Marty's a fan. He said this is awesome, so you don't waste money on paper mailers that typically end up in the trash before anyone reads them. You can reach your target customer and pinpoint with pinpoint precision and have the metrics to allow you to see, you know, how effective your ROI is.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, snail mail is no longer king, right? So everybody's going in the digital world, and so it's really important to make sure that you follow that so you have the best opportunity to create that reaction with your motorists and they're seeing your information. A lot of what happens these days is we grab that pile of junk mail, it goes straight in the garbage, right? Straight in the garbage. You don't even have the opportunity to capture their attention. However, talking to them in the digital world and what we're used to really has an impact these days and increases the likelihood of them responding to the communication that you've sent to them.
Awesome.
Now, what we're going to do at this point is we have our campaign created. Now we're going to work on scheduling that campaign. Like I mentioned, there's two ways you can do a campaign. You can do a one-time campaign and be done and launch, or you have the ability at this point in time to set up an automatic campaign. Again, I recommend each month you run a lost customer special to grab that log, you know, that low-hanging fruit that's getting ready to, that's slipping away, or for you to recapture those new customers that are coming in and let them know that you appreciate them. So if we want to schedule a campaign, we're going to come in here for a reoccurring. We're going to click on automatic campaign. You give it a name. We're going to set the first campaign date for when it's going to launch. You can run these every 30, 60, or 90 days by default. You can come in here and tell us never stop this campaign, or I can say I want it to run, you know, 5 times before we stop that. You can give it a specific date as to when we're going to stop the campaign. You can even set it to remind you 3 days before this launches that it's going to go out. So if you need to make any changes, or if you've forgotten you want to stop the campaign, you can come back in here and do so. Now, if you want to create just a simple one-time campaign, but you want to, like I said, create like that marketing calendar and schedule it for the future. Once you have it created, what you're going to do is give a name. We're going to slide this toggle switch to reuse this template in the future. We're going to click on save, and we're going to save this. Once we do that, we're going to give it a launch date. So maybe I want this to launch for the first time in July. We're going to schedule it for July, and that's going to be the date that it's going to launch. Once we do that, the next thing you're going to do is preview and test. Here's a sample of my text. Here's my email. Here's my campaign page, so we can take one more walk through that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to test it. Why? You need to make sure everything looks presentable on an actual device when it comes to your email, cell phone, landing page. Do my links work? Can I click to schedule an appointment? Can they access my website? When you send a test, you have to select customer. The test is not going to that motorist, but you have to select one. So for example, if I select Adrian here, I can send myself a text. I will also send myself a sample of what this looks like via email. And then I'm going to hit send. And what I've done is just launched a sample of exactly what's going to go to my customers, so I can look at that and make sure, again, everything represents me the way I want it to. Once I get my test back and everything's good to go, I'm simply going to go to launch. And this is really cool. It gives you great information. Inside of here is letting me know who I'm going to target for my audience, and exactly how many people are going to get a text, how many folks are getting an email, and how many are getting both. In addition to that, it's letting me know the date that my campaign's going to launch, what components, so text, email, landing page, and I'm going to launch and then send away. So that is how we create a campaign, and some things that you can do to customize and massage that campaign to make it your own.
Wow, that was awesome. I have one question for you, Chris. When you were showing the test list, it had loyalty. It showed loyalty points.
Yeah.
And so does that mean, so anybody who has like Digital Shop Pro or has loyalty points as part of their, you know, the full retention with us, then the loyalty points balance is going to show up on the reminder also?
Absolutely. Every communication that we send to your customers, we want to advise them how many loyalty points they have and what items they can redeem them for. So unfortunately, I didn't choose a good test for anybody that had loyalty points, but nonetheless, if they did, it would absolutely show that on the communication, whether it's a service reminder, an appointment reminder, or a campaign we're launching.
Yeah, that's very cool. So let me ask you something. So what if they, okay, so if I had loyalty points, you know, in my shop, right, I have those available, but then the customer has a zero balance, does it show them, hey, you know, you should join our loyalty points program?
Yes, it does. It
Awesome.
gives them, it will give them information regarding the loyalty points. One of the things that we should always be doing just as a best practice is making sure that you're speaking to your customers about their rewards program, right?
Okay.
It's a very common practice, not just for our industry, but for every industry. Everybody these days are gaining points, and you should talk about it because it's another way to entice your customer to generate a reward to come back in and have an outlet to get some sort of discount, or maybe you're going to give them some free wiper blades, right, if they come back in, for being loyal and frequent to your business.
Sure. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
No problem. So what we're going to do is spend a couple minutes real quick on this, how you can brand your communications. Like you see with Frank, everything he does is customized here. So the way that you will access the brand manager to create a color scheme is directly through this campaign manager as well, right up top here. So there's a couple things that you can do. Number one is you have this circle that you'll start to see as I move through here that will bounce through different color plots of your logo, which is how it's starting to create and customize a look and feel of your color scheme to start branding your communications. So what you do, there's two ways you can do it, and I'll show you both ways. One way is you can click on new color palette here, and as you see, it will start to go through, like I mentioned, through the different colors of your banner and creating a new look and feel of what your communications will look like here. Now, all of these 5 lists of different communications will be affected, so my recommendation would be when you're going through the color palette and you're clicking here and you find one that you feel you like, do your due diligence, go through the other communications and make sure you like the way they all look. Now, if there's one of them you don't like, you need to come in here and you need to work a little bit further to make sure you like and you love all of them. Now, again, you go through and bounce. It's super simple here. Just bounce through the color palettes till you find something you like. Check all of your communications, make sure they look well. If you find one you like, simply save your palette and you're done. Really simple. Now, if you wanted to get really savvy and you didn't like anything you flipped through, there is, and I'll put this link into the chat message for you guys. There is, this is what I use often for me is, I don't know, I have a little OCD and I like to just do things the hard way, I guess. You can come through here. It's an HTML color code. You can choose where you know, what color you want and bounce. And here gives you all of the different codes that you want. So for example, if I wanted to use more of like a red color and I didn't have that option when I'm going through the different color palettes, you can use this code, take it and copy it, and then come here and you have the ability to come in here, plop in what you want, where you want it, and now it's customizing your color scheme for where you want it to apply. So there is 5 different sections here, and you can go to each and every one of them and make sure, for one, that you keep that hashtag in there. Without a hashtag, it's not going to work. Paste what you want, and then you can start to see where it applies within the template you have here, and you can really customize and start adding in different color schemes based on how you want it to look and feel outside of what options you have through our color palette. So that's pretty easy and simple, folks. It's how you use a brand manager. Flip through your color palette or use the HTML code, grab what you want, make sure you have a hashtag in front of it, paste in your coding, see where it goes, and what, you know, if you like it, once you're done, save it, and we are good to go. It will now reflect all of your communications in that fashion from here forward.
Yeah, that's really cool. And also, Chris, if you could just touch on real quick how I can upload my logo.
Absolutely, thank you. So
Sure.
if in fact, either A, there is no logo here, which there should always be, or B, you want to change it out, you can, right here gives you the ability to click here and choose a file, and you can upload your logo here. Or if you have a logo and you simply download it, kind of like here, we can come in here and you can drag and drop directly to this file and upload your logo at any time. Okay, so if you have something here you don't like, change it.
Very cool. Thank you.
No problem. So the very last thing we're going to do today is talk about how you can configure your service reminders to incorporate your inspection results. So number one is, if you're not comfortable with changing your settings, get in contact with your service advisor. your product advisor, and let them help you. Okay, I would rather help you understand the different options you have versus maybe you playing and not understanding, getting confused, and not liking your end result. Okay, now the way you do so is if you come from your today's vehicle page and you go to settings. When you're inside of your settings, it's going to bring you into an area. This is called My Shop. Inside of My Shop, you have your predefined jobs here, which allows you to control in this area where it has recommendations, where we pull information from your point of sale, but also your inspection sheet. Anytime you're looking at the first two options, they're reflecting your point of sale. I would not recommend you change those during your onboarding. Your advisor should be doing the due diligence to ask you where you're putting recommendations to make sure they're pulled in the right way. I would just recommend looking at your third option here. So what you have is use recommended actions from inspection sheets for the next visit. So I'm going to take a time to explain how these three work. Number one is if you're utilizing canned jobs that are configured into your inspection sheets, the first option you have here, like Frank is anytime we have a recommended action that is a canned job that was not sold, it will pull those in by default for you. So again, only canned job recommended actions that were strictly declined would pull in here. Now, the second option here is include recommendations from inspection sheets not sold. This is going to pull in two sections from your inspection sheet. Anything that's listed under future attention, whether it's configured as a canned job or what I would call as a generic recommended action, those are going to pull in. Now, we also will pull in any canned job recommended actions that have not been sold as well. So this one is going to strictly detect if the canned job was a recommended action for immediate attention that was declined. This option is going to pull in future recommendations as long as they're listed, canned job or not, in addition to any canned job recommendations that are listed as immediate attention. The third option you have here is going to pull in any future or immediate attention items regardless of canned job or not. So if you have inspection sheets that are not configured to have any canned jobs in them, you can set this third option to pull in any immediate attention items without canned job configuration. Any questions on that, Tom?
Nope.
Okay. Now, for those of you that are not aware what it looks like, so when you come in here, you have this concierge button, and this concierge button is going to show you information. It's going to show you where recommendations are coming from. So for example, and you know what, forgive me, I'm in an appointment reminder. Let me open this up real quick and show you. And in order to see the concierge button, you need to go to your workflow, okay? Let me see if I can grab you one really quick. Okay, so sorry guys, just looking for a good example to show you. So what you're going to see here is when you have your inspection sheet recommendations to pull in, this is what it looks like. What a beautiful example to show your motorist, right? Is we talk about making sure you edit your photos to create an impact for the customer. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to repurpose the information that was declined or future recommendations to remind your customers to come back in, and we want to re-educate them. So you need to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to edit your photos and have clear notes that your motorists understand so they can approve the additional jobs that maybe they declined previously. So this is what those recommendations look like when you pull them into a service reminder. It's going to show the topic. You have your picture right here. Look at that. Clear arrow, check engine light. We know where it's at. Here is showing the odometer again. where that check engine light's at, you have your notes from your technician. So as you can see, these are items that are stressed as critical. Please make sure you do your job at taking your photos, because your photos sell your work for you. But this is an example of what the service reminders and or appointment reminders will look like when you pull in information from your inspection sheet.
That's awesome, Chris.
Yeah.
Good. See, I told you that she would be the perfect person to come in here and teach us how to use this stuff.
Thanks, Tom. If there's any questions, please post them on Facebook, you guys, if you have any trouble understanding. This stuff can be complicated at times. So if you have any additional follow-up questions or you need assistance, put that out on Facebook or get a hold of your advisor so they can help you take advantage of utilizing the information that you have at your fingertips to re-educate your customers to drive them back in.
Yeah, really good. Well, and Frank's looks sharp. I love that brand manager just makes it pop.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, perfect. So if you saw, if there was anything we didn't cover, you have more questions, maybe we didn't answer fully, feel free to pop into the Facebook forum, ask questions in there. We'll be, having a conversation with you, help you out on there. Tune in next week. Oh, Chris, you want to shoot the screen share back over to me?
You got it.
Perfecto. Thank you. Let's see if I have. Oh. All right. So next week we're going to be talking about business control panel and setting goals. So in Digital Shop Talk, I hope you guys like this new forum, right? We're on Digital Shop Talk Radio. We're bringing in shops to tell their story and really get the kind of those creative juices flowing, throw a lot of ideas out there and things that they're kind of pioneering as we, together kind of define what a digital shop operating process is, right? And then on Thursday, we'll come in just like this and we'll do the how-to portion, how to set it up, how to take advantage of those ideas that we get from the Wednesday Digital Shop Talk Radio. So next week, we're going to be talking BCP and goal setting, how to use the business control panel to monitor the best practices and behavioral KPIs of your crew, make sure that you're on trend towards goal, how to set those goals, make sure those goals are aggressive enough to drive productivity, to drive production, but not too aggressive to, turn them away. And then, of course, the second half of that is that when you're hitting your goals, you got to make sure you keep raising that bar. So that's one of the things that people tend to forget to do. Fantastic. Thank you again, Chris. Thanks, Marty. And thank you, everybody, for attending. Hope you learned something. We'll talk to you next week. Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Pacific on Digital Shop Talk Radio. You can join right through the Facebook forum. We'll talk to you then. Have a great day.